Now, the American and the Philippine armed forces fired missiles and artillery to thwart a simulated invasion in the Philippines' northern waters facing Taiwan on the 6th of May. A couple of days later, a decommissioned China-made Philippine ship was sunk by the Allied forces in the South China Sea war games. This show of military force and strengthening ties just comes days after their governments had objected to China's dangerous manoeuvres in the regional waters. The annual military drills, which commenced last month, ran until the 10th of May, irking China. Will these military drills now result in the destabilisation of the region that is already fraught with tensions over China's territorial claims? Our next report gives you more details.
The war games by the US and Philippine forces near the potential flashpoints of the South China Sea and Taiwan kicked off last month. In the annual joint military drills, dubbed Balikatan or shoulder to shoulder in Tagalog, more than 16,700 Philippine and American troops conducted land, sea and air maneuvers at multiple locations across the Asian archipelago. On Monday, about 200 soldiers took turns defending the shores of the coastal city of Laoag, around 400 kilometers south of Taiwan, launching javelin missiles, firing howitzers and machine guns at floating targets about 5 kilometers off the coast.
Balikatan centers around, besides those traits that I talked about of transparency, respect of sovereignty, seeking peaceful resolutions, but being prepared for the worst. When we prepare for the worst, what I think we've seen in this Balikatan, and I'm excited that we'll continue to refine that, is the key maritime terrain, securing key maritime terrain, either taking it or defending it, which we saw today. And they're all building block approaches that leads to sea control, that will lead to a maritime strike.
In continuation of the drills on Wednesday, the BRP Lake, Caliraya, a small tanker decommissioned by the Philippine Navy in 2020, was sunk after being struck by a wave of anti-ship missiles, rockets, cannon fire and land-based artillery. A US F-16 fighter and an AC-130 gunship along with the Philippine military took part in the simulated attack. When asked about the drills, China's foreign ministry accused the United States and Philippines of provocation.
China has made clear its stern position many times on military cooperation between the United States and the Philippines. I would like to emphasize again that any military exercise should not be targeted at or harm the interests of third parties. It should not damage mutual trust among countries in the region or undermine regional peace and stability. I believe countries in the region can all see clearly who is currently provoking military confrontation and escalating tensions in the region. We advise relevant countries to safeguard their own security and development and maintain regional peace and stability. The only correct choice is to uphold good neighborliness, return to dialogue and consultation, and persist in strategic independence.
These military drills come against the backdrop of increased confrontations between Chinese and Filipino vessels around shoals in the South China Sea, which are claimed by Manila. Manila alleged last week that the Chinese Coast Guard had damaged a Philippine Coast Guard ship. And another government vessel in water cannon attacks around the disputed China-controlled Scarborough Shoal on the 30th of April. Beijing, on the other hand, claims almost the entire South China Sea, despite an international tribunal ruling that its assertion has no legal basis. Hundreds of Coast Guards, Navy and other vessels are deployed by Beijing to patrol and militarize these contested waters. The military exercises by the US and the Philippines have clearly infuriated Beijing, which has warned of destabilisation, calling these exercises muscle flexing and confrontation stoking. The important question is, have we reached the tipping point in the South China Sea crisis?